Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis. Today is Xur Day. It is September 17th. Remember, Xur will be here from Friday until Tuesday weekly reset at 10 a.m. Pacific. Let's go through the exotics, then we'll go the legendary rolls, and then finally we are going to hit up the legendary armor, see if there's any good stats for every class. Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis. Xur is in the tower in the north corner of the hangar. And we're going to go through first the exotics, see what those are all about. We're going to touch the legendary weapons, see if we got any good perk rolls. And legendary armor for each class, we're going to see about the stat rolls. So let's start with the exotics. First, we've got Merciless. This is a fusion rifle. Fusion rifles are really in their heyday right now, and specifically this one is a very good one because non-lethal hits with projectiles make this weapon charge faster until it gets a kill. So if you can, fire the first one of 8 a little bit faster and then a little bit faster, by the time you get to the 4th or 5th bullet in the magazine, the last half of the magazine fires insanely fast, and you can dump a ton of damage. And you pair this now with Particle Deconstructor for the next 6 months of the season, or 5.5, however long this is going to be. This is going to be one, if you don't have this and you haven't experimented with it either, pull it out of the vault or buy it from Xur since it's a decent level and mess around. This thing is going to be a powerful exotic, and when fusion rifles are in their heyday, which is rare, take advantage of it and enjoy it. You've also got the perk Reloading immediately after a kill, increases weapon damage for a short time. So you can get a boost there as well. So yeah, overall, if you don't have this weapon, please buy it, experiment. It's very powerful right now. For the Hunter, we've got the Shards of Galanor. Hits and kills with Blade Barrage, so your super will return super energy. This is kind of capped at 50%. They've done that to all of these, so you can't just like super. But the stat roll is 62, and it is about as an even spread as you can get. It's a little high in the resilience. That's kind of a wasted stat for a hunter specifically. But 10, 13, 9, 9, 13, 8, it's very even and well-rounded depending on what you're going for in stat rolls. 62 isn't bad. It's well-rounded, but the resilience is kind of wasted for a hunter. So not the best, but definitely seen worse. For the Titan, we've got the One-Eyed Mask. Vengeance is the perk. Highlights the target who dares to damage you, so you can kind of get a little lock on them. Track down and destroy them for an overshield. So if you kill whoever marked you, you will get an overshield. It's actually useful in both PvP and PvE, so not bad in general. You do have a total of 67 on the stats. You're running high in mobility and high in strength. Unfortunately, strength isn't a bad thing, to boost up your melee. Titans, we do tend to punch a lot. As for mobility, though, at 19, that's a stat that's kind of wasted on a Titan. You probably need some mobility for moving around, especially in a PvP setting. But overall, not the best stat rollout. You're, 8 in recovery, 8 in intellect, 7 in resilience. Those are the stats I would be looking at more for a Titan. Generally, it's a high total, which isn't bad, but overall, not the best distribution for a Titan specifically. For the Warlocks, we've got Geomags. Close enough. Damaging targets with Chaos Reach extends its duration. They did take away the topping off where people would just sprint and finish off their super. They took that away. It was a bit OP and kind of broken in PvP. But it is basically, if you use Chaos Reach and you're doing damage, Chaos Reach will last longer. It's a great way to pump a bunch of damage into a boss. And you've got a 67 stat roll as well, which these are crazy high. You've got high resilience. Unfortunately, that's kind of wasted on a Warlock. 8 recovery, meh. 10 intellect, that's getting better. Discipline's not bad. Mobility, again, we've got high totals, but you could have 62 with better stats that may work better for a certain character. So again, the total's not bad if you're trying to boost up stuff here and there. You need like a minimum resilience of like 4 or 6 or whatever in PvP, not to just get like 2-shot by a few things. But in general, I would say like you better have low resilience on everything else if you're doing this type of role. So overall, decent total stats, not the best distributions, but not bad. Let's take a look at the weapons now. First, we've got Dire Promise, nice old 140 hand cannon. You've got some high caliber rounds where you could boost the range. You've got Steady Hand as well for a little extra stability. Snapshot sights and rangefinder. Probably an okay roll for a PvP situation, but nothing too exciting. You've got Grave Robber and Quick Draw with, this one I probably wouldn't get too excited about. It's a high handling SMG, always is. Quick Draw is not bad either. A little bit of extra range. You could boost a little range with the perk. But again, everybody's probably going to say the multi-mock right now is pretty solid. You've got the Ikelos, Grave Roger, and Vorpal with so melee final blows. Reload this weapons magazine from reserves. Vorpal, always good against extra damage for Guardians and their supers and bosses. The Seraph rounds over-penetrate. You've also got small bore for stability and range, but you've got extended barrel for a little bit more. Handling as well. Not a bad roll on an Ikelos. I've seen worse for sure, but if you're going to be like making Warmind cells, things of that nature, this is a pretty stout roll, solid range, solid handling. Not bad for an SMG. For sure, consider that because small bore is going to make it even a little bit more manageable. Then we've got main ingredient, tap the trigger. So grants a short period of increased stability on the initial trigger pull. Basically, if you switch over and fire the weapon, you've also got under pressure, increased stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower. If you go into PvP, you pull out your weapon. You've got tap the trigger on the first trigger pull. Your only two, rounds in the magazine are going to be the lower half. That's extra stability and accuracy. You've also got extra range from projection fuse or stability here. You've got short zoom. You can even get the red dot zoom and also clean shot. Not a bad one just to like whip out a fusion rifle and get a pretty consistent shot. And you've got stability on top of that. This is going to be a tight grouping. I mean, main ingredient's going to be a precision frame. It's not going to be the high impact, so it's that mid charge time. This is actually a decent roll just to like, if you need to switch over to a PvP fusion rifle and you want to get a kill, it's going to be a little stabler. This is one I might actually just consider messing around with. It's not that expensive. It's 50 legendary shards. If you've got it, you're looking for a fusion rifle, it's not bad. Okay, I'm probably just gonna say buy this because there's too many people for sure that would probably tell you get a blinding grenade launcher, basically for any high level activity. Blinding grenades on things like shriekers, stuff like that is really, really powerful to shut an enemy down for a little while. You've also got concussion grenades, but the blinding's probably going to be more powerful in a PvE setting. Doesn't have spike on it. I'd like to see that there. But you do have feeding frenzy, so if you get a kill, you got the reload. You do some damage with swashbuckler. You do more damage. It's not bad. I mean, the blast radius is tiny, but if you get those shots, it's going to be pretty good overall. If nothing else, the blinding grenades, just to have one in case somebody's like, hey, do you have a blinding grenade launcher? Buy one for sure. This is pretty good. Just to have it, if nothing else. Buy this sword, too. If you don't have a void sword, or any sword really that has Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade, these are the two that work together best because landing 3 light attacks within a short time grants sword ammo. So if you're sitting there just slashing with your light one, you get ammo back. And then rapid sword strikes, which you're doing with your light one, increase the weapon's damage for a short duration. So then you can do light, and then do a heavy slams. And that used to work really well with the big one that would spin, but it's still good. It's got Swordsman's Guard. It's got Jagged Edge. It's literally going to be as high impact as possible. If you like for a void sword that steals Sybil, if you don't have one at least of this caliber, this is a good sword. So perks are about as optimal as you're going to get. If you don't have a great sword already, please get that sword. It is solid. Bottom dollar, you've got Outlaw, Dragonfly, you've got faster reloading here, which I'd probably take over that one. You've also got Hammerforge, so your range is also pretty stout. You can also go small bore to give up a little bit for stability. If this was range, it would be really good, but Outlaw for faster reloads, it is a slow reloader at a 120, but Dragonfly for some exploding heads. You could probably buy these last 5 weapons and feel okay about it. There's a lot of good options here for weapons. I know that takes a little longer, but there's some good weapon options for sure. Now let's go through the armor and see if these are disappointments as they usually are for the Titan. 59, 60 with recovery and intellect. That's not horrible, actually. Class item still just, unless you're going for transmog. 61 and 63. Okay, they finally didn't screw my Titans over. Everything is close to 60 at least. Recovery and intellect, very high, both in the 20s. That's actually very good. 61, mobility, resilience, discipline, intellect, low in recovery, but still a 61. 63, really high intellect, decent recovery and resilience. That's like built for a Titan right there. So overall, the boots, the helmet, and the chest armor, if you're looking for like maybe a solar set of armor, and you can always switch these up as well, but these two especially, not too shabby, very spiky on this one. So Titans finally didn't get screwed. Let's check the rest. All right, Warlocks are next. We've got a 62 high resilience, high strength. That is not benefiting Warlocks, even though it's in the 60s. It's not great. 59, 59, 63. That one's at least well-rounded, but again, you're low in recovery, only okay in intellect. This is the thing. You can have something that has a decent total of 63, but distributed poorly for a class, unless you're going after a certain build, but like 6 recovery for a Warlock, that's not helping anybody. All right, so for the Hunters, we've got 62 with 21 mobility. That's not too shabby. Intellect of 12, that's not bad. 57 on the chest, nothing amazing. 63 with 23 in recovery, 12 in intellect, 14 in strength for your melees. The mobility is extremely low, but high recovery is not a bad thing for PvP. And wow, damn. 61, recovery, discipline, intellect, and mobility. For a Hunter, like, you got some pretty solid options here as well. Overall, I gotta tell you guys, like, 67 for your one-eyed mask, 67 for Geomags. You could probably pick up 5 or 6 of these rolls. Snapshot, rangefind, almost every weapon in here is an option to experiment with for sure. And then for Hunters, Warlocks, and Titans, you got some options that are all in there this week. So overall, Xur coming in with some really useful stuff now, which I'd love to see. If you guys haven't picked up any of these weapons, don't have a great roll on them, need a higher stat roll in some places, definitely looking to spend in some shards this weekend because you will be happy you did. So please visit Xur, buy some stuff. Thank you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like below. Comment if there's anything in here that I may have missed or misspoken about. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell to get my videos to you. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ebontis, streaming over on Twitch.tv/Ebontis, and sometimes right here on YouTube. Thank you all. If you want to support me directly, join the channel as a member or find me on Patreon. Thank you.